Sentinel boys are back with a dog.
Like us in the house.
Our first special guest of the night here, like the dog, making an appearance here. We are in part number 3 of our midterm live stream here. And Sam Knight, how you feeling?
Had a bit of a sneezing fit a few seconds ago. Might sneeze again. And other than that, doing all right.
Doing okay. We're doing okay here. We have some news to get to here. This isn't just regular news. This isn't just regular news up in here.
We've got I believe we have a critical alert.
I believe we do have a critical alert.
That's right, folks. The Democrats have flipped a seat.
They flipped a seat.
Donna Shalala? Am I saying that right? She has won the right to represent Florida's 27th congressional district.
There you go. So number of seats to flip has gone from 23 to 22.
Actually,
and it's about to go even lower here, isn't it?
It's going to go down to 21.
Because we have another, I believe we have another critical alert.
It's a critical alert,
this
folks.
This one coming out of Virginia.
Barbara Comstock is
Barbara
done.
Comstock has lost. Jennifer Wexton has picked up another seat for the Democrats. So the number of seats needed to flip the House is now down to 21.
21, folks.
21. And there are some Republicans on the ropes early here. We did just check in on the race in Kentucky. Andy Barr against Amy McGrath. This thing is as tight as it comes right now.
Andy Barr was winning early. Amy McGrath took a pretty sizable lead. But Andy Barr is now back in the lead. He's up by 2.2%, 50.5 to 48.3. 84.7% of precincts have reported. So Andy Barr might hold on, but fuck if I know what's going to happen.
We actually have another critical alert. This one down in Florida, where Mario Diaz-Balart, the Republican, has defended a seat. This was a potential pickup for Democrats.
Potential. It would have been a stretch. But they could have done it. They didn't do it. Diaz-Balart hangs on.
Yeah, loses. Mary Barzi Flores loses to Mario Diaz-Balart.
And Leslie Cockburn is closing the gap on Denver Riggleman. I believe someone in the chat noted that this race involves some of the two more absurd names. Denver Riggleman, come on. And Leslie Cockburn, I mean, sorry, but Cockburn is never going to not be funny. Anyway, Cockburn, the Democrat, down only 7 percentage points, but she's running out of real estate, 88.2% of precincts reporting. So not looking good there. I think that was a bit of a stretch for Democrats, and it doesn't look like they're going to get it. There are plenty of pickup opportunities for D's in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Yeah,
we do have polls closing there in those states. Like someone like Leonard Lance, how's he doing? He's a more moderate Republican.
You know, where I'm seeing on the Politico site, the results have not yet come in. Not seeing anything for New Jersey yet. It's a long night.
Yep.
Also waiting for Maine. Bruce Poliquin, of course, the famed only House Republican from New England, and he is fighting for his political life tonight. No results there yet. Also, something very interesting to note about Maine is that they have ranked choice voting now.
Yeah.
So if neither of these candidates win an outright majority on the first sort of iteration of the votes, as it were, there's an automatic runoff. And so we're not going to be left with a situation where someone wins with like 49% of the vote. And the reason they're doing this in Maine, as far as I understand, is because they have a far-right governor, Paul LePage, who was elected with a plurality both times. And everyone hates him.
Yeah.
Not everyone hates him. Obviously, a lot of people love him. But the majority of Mainers, I believe, are not fond of him, so they've decided to do ranked choice voting, and good for them.
Yeah, we need to get that in every state. Looks like a couple of very tight races in Florida in the Gillum race for governor. See if you can find us an update on that Rick Scott, Bill Nelson race in Florida, too.
Yeah, give me a
For
second.
the Senate here, Bill Nelson had pulled in the lead. Still early, still votes to be counted in Texas, but this is a close race.
Is it?
Sam and I have been skeptical, but Beto's up 51-48. I know
So he
we've
is.
got friend of the show, Kurt, out in the Sentinel newsroom who's been following this race. He has a bit of a predicted wager on it. Kurt, if you have any updates, just yell them out about Beto's race.
Actually, a reference to a conversation we were having off screen. Don't yell them out, Kurt. Only yell them out if they're important.
If they're calls, if they're critical alerts,
If they
as
are,
we call them.
Indeed, critical alerts. Bit of an eye-opener. It's very early in Mississippi, but a Democrat is beating Roger Wicker, 0.1% of the precincts reporting. I'm sure that is about to change. Looking over at West Virginia, Joe Manchin has a commanding lead, 53-42 over Patrick Morrissey, 10.2% precincts reporting there. Back to Scott Nelson. Scott up by 0.2%. Did I just say that? I don't think I just said that.
No.
Anyway. And over in Indiana, still not looking good for Joe Donnelly, who is 39.2. He's stuck at 39.2, but we got plenty of time there.
To be honest, wouldn't mind seeing him go.
Yeah. And over in Tennessee, do we have our Tennessee graphic that I prepared for you for this show, our special Tennessee graphic?
We do. You're just going to have to kill time for about 15 seconds while I pull it up.
I will kill time.
Set up what we're going to see here.
All right. So what we're looking right now at Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn is up 63.4 to 35.
All right, we got the graphic ready.
63.4, 35.4. Marsha Blackburn up by roughly 30 points. 2.7% precincts reporting. So there's a lot of time to go. But I don't think Phil Bredesen has a shot. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell because what we're looking at here on the screen is the predicted market. The blue line, you see Bredsen's shot at winning. The divergence happens right around the Kavanaugh hearings because Bredesen, he came out and he said, I guess this is the only slide. It was a headline that said Bredesen announces he would have voted for Kavanaugh had he been in the Senate. And just right then, we got the divergence there. We had a report.
And his numbers tanked.
Yeah, we had reports of volunteers giving up on him and quitting in disgust. And so I'm not saying he would have won had he just kept his mouth shut, but I don't think we would be seeing Marsha Blackburn running away with it as she's doing now. Again, still early, but I have no hope of Democrats picking up a seat in Tennessee. And even if they had done, he would have been a useless piece of shit who would have rubber stamped the Republicans.
Yeah. New Jersey votes are starting to come in. We'll get some news probably on Bob Menendez pretty soon.
Bob Menendez, according to this, is losing early, but very early, 0.9% reporting. And he is only down by 0.1%.
Democrats are probably not going to take the Senate tonight, but they're definitely not going to take it if Bob Menendez loses tonight, and that would be their own damn fault.
It would be their own fault. Menendez, of course, was indicted on corruption charges, and he was acquitted. But as we know, it's notoriously difficult to get a conviction on corruption charges. So either way, clearly not something you want on your CV if you are running in an election, if you're trying to get voters. And Menendez is probably going to hold on, I think. And now he's ahead. He's ahead now.
Menendez is back ahead.
Menendez
it's going
is
back and forth
ahead.
between Gillum and DeSantis as well here. Down in Virginia, where Democrats have picked up one seat, Wexton over Comstock, we're getting some reports from CNN here that Democrat Leslie Cockburn has lost to Denver Riggleman. We'll confirm that and update that graphic soon. If so, that would be another seat that Democrats had hoped that they could flip that they're not going to be able to. But there's still plenty of opportunities. And Democrats still need 21 seats to flip the House at this moment. but that will likely change quite soon.
One of those seats, as we've noted earlier on the show, Dave Bratt, he is still up by 1 percentage point over Abigail Spanberger in the, what district is it? 7th
Virginia
district.
7th.
7th district, Richmond area. And Bratt still has not won yet, and he still has not lost. But that is one that Dems will, I don't think they necessarily would have to flip it, but it would look good early if Dems can flip it.
Definitely. We've got, let's see, 8:30 right now. Up at 9 p.m., lots of polls closing in New York. That's when we'll probably get the results, the guaranteed results about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez being elected to the House. We're going to also have some results in Louisiana. There are some toss-up seats in Kansas that Democrats could possibly flip. They will be playing defense in Minnesota in one seat, a blue seat that Republicans competing for right now.
2 seats in Minnesota.
2 seats in Minnesota.
Can I get a critical alert?
Whoa, we've got a critical alert happening here, folks.
AP Politics calling Louis Gohmert to win re-election. Sorry, I fucked up his name there.
Louis Gohmert was a judge once.
He was once a judge. He is now a congressman, and he will be a congressman for another 2 years. No surprises there, but he's just uniquely awful, so figured he deserved a critical alert.
Yeah. We do have parts of Texas that have closed, and we are getting some of those results in the Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz Senate race. Of course, one of our pray for one of these dipshits to lose, Ted Cruz and Steve King.
Sir, stop it.
Sorry, Steve.
We're not sorry.
Still looking at these races also in Georgia, where we should be getting some more votes coming in Georgia's 6th district, in Georgia's 7th district, 2 seats Democrats are hoping they can flip. It is a bit of an uphill battle, though, there. Especially, excuse me.
Are you all right there?
I'm okay. Especially considering that it looks like Kemp is leading by a lot early over Stacey Abrams in Georgia.
It does look like that, but also no numbers whatsoever for the 6th district, nor are there any numbers whatsoever for the 7th district via Politico, and it stands to reason that this may be a result of irregularities in the state of Georgia. Why aren't these results coming in?
Why aren't these conservative districts, why don't they have their act together here and getting their votes in?
It's, I don't know. But anyway, looking at the top of the ticket, not really looking that good for Stacey Abrams. She's down 34.8 to 64.6 with 9.3 reporting. So we got a lot to go. Still waiting for those hotly contested 6th and 7th districts in the state of Georgia. No numbers yet. We got our eyes on them. But also, we can say this, a critical alert.
Oh, we've got a critical alert?
We have a critical alert.
Let's do it.
The Associated Press is predicting, calling that the vice president's brother, Greg, is now a House member, or will be next year. He won Indiana's 6th congressional district. No surprise there, but he's a Veep's brother, so he gets a critical alert.
There's a bunch of really shitty people spawning and getting their relatives in Congress. We've got, what's-her-face, Liz Cheney, who will likely be reelected tonight. Was that in Montana or something?
Wyoming.
Jeffrey's saying that, Sam, you should do the rest of the show on NyQuil.
Maybe I should.
WM Martin saying every time they check in, the stream is off. You got bad luck, I guess.
That's weird.
We're streaming for most of every hour, about a half hour for every hour we're on here. We'll be streaming for a bit longer here. Okay, looks like they are calling it. CBS and CNN calling Riggleman a winner in Cockburn over Cockburn in Virginia. So
that was a stretch. Again, that was a stretch. It was not a toss-up. So it's not panic stations yet for Democrats, but it would have been nice to win that. So
Ryan noting earlier, I'm not sure how old this forecast is, but from 538, the House forecast just went 50-50.
On 548.
Yeah.
538.
538.
And before it was not that, was it?
No.
It was before it was higher for Dems. It was not 50-50. Maybe we're not seeing it. I mean, well, maybe Gilliam's deficit right now is indicative that Democrats will not pick up seats they need in Florida. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I picked Florida as the state where Democrats would pick up the most seats.
I was saying Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where this comes from. Oh, interesting. Predict it. Who will control the House after 2018? The share of people who think Democrats yes has gone down 15 cents. It's now 55-45. We'd been
So
watching
just barely.
We'd been watching that, barely favoring Democrats over on Predict It, and money talks, as you know.
Looking at right now,
Not looking good for Democrats.
looking at right now are up against the wall here of Republicans who could potentially lose, and I believe that we can apply our first X. If you're watching at home and you do have your sheet in front of you, Barbara Comstock down here in the bottom right-hand corner.
She's goner.
She's a goner. We'll update that when we get a chance here. Anybody else? Do we have any other things?
Do we? I mean, Shalala, Rose Lettinen had retired.
Yep,
I don't
she's
think
not on
she's
there.
not on there.
Let's deal with Pete Sessions. That would be interesting if Pete Sessions were to lose down in Texas. I'm not sure if his district is closed yet, if he's in the part of Texas that's closed.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a damn good question.
Keeping an eye on Carlos Curbelo, who's on there still. That race still going on. Nothing called yet there.
Nothing.
Sam Knight brought up Bruce Poliquin.
Nothing
Keeping an
there.
eye on that race up in Maine. Leonard Lance in New Jersey. Still waiting on that. John Faso. No results there, but we're going to talk to Owen Higgins when we're going to be taking a break here in a little bit. And when we come back, we're going to have Owen Higgins on from Massachusetts. He's got a new article talking about Faso or Faso and some other money and politics stories. He's got a new piece up at The Intercept. So
You know,
want
man,
to tune into that.
It's looking like the money early on. Maybe looking at Andy Barr still hanging on. Andy 50.6, 48.2 lead.
Barr hanging on, huh?
Over Amy McGrath, 91.1% reporting. So maybe the money's looking at that. It's looking at DeSantis doing a little better than expected, and thinking that, hey, maybe Democrats are going to blow this thing after all.
Yeah, we're probably going to start getting answers to a lot of these races within the next hour. I mean, especially that David Bratt race. They've got to be almost close to having those votes counted.
Spanberger 0.6 deficit is 0.6 percentage points. So still hope for her.
Apparently, Chapo Boys are doing a stream right now. People are saying in the chat room.
So they are.
Did not know that. I did not know that. We were competing against them, but thank you for tuning in with us.
Let's see. What else do we got here?
Somebody asked when the last time Cushbaum's been on the Sentinel. I think that was a few months ago, maybe last year.
Maybe. We got Politico still has Beto O'Rourke up by 0.2%. That's I gotta say a lot of surprising stuff so far. I think I'm surprised that Dems are underperforming in Florida and early. I didn't think Beto O'Rourke would have any hope whatsoever.
Yeah. We mentioned that Cockburn has likely lost that Virginia 5th seat, but she did perform better than expected. This was, this was going to be a tough one for Democrats to win. But if it is going to be a huge blue wave, these are seats that are going to fall.
Yeah.
But we'll see as the night progresses.
We also got to keep an eye on Pennsylvania. We got Pennsylvania closed at 8, and Dems got to pick up a lot of seats in Pennsylvania to have any shot. And no calls so far, but keep
Ben
an eye on.
Jealous leading in Maryland slightly with 11%, and he's got a 2-point lead.
You got this while I plug in my computer for the next 15 seconds,
Yeah,
or
go-
is maybe this time to take the break?
No,
right now?
go ahead and plug in your computer right now. Let's take a look again at some of the Democratic Senate seats that are vulnerable, I should say. Joe Manchin, Joe Donnelly, and Claire McCaskill. We'll get McCaskill results starting to come in fairly soon. Missouri closed at 8 p.m. Joe Manchin in West Virginia, we had those polls close earlier in the night. At
Claire
8.
McCaskill is another TBH. Wouldn't mind seeing them go.
No.
And one of the things she did, in addition to sort of saying nasty stuff about immigrants and the wall, was she saying? Oh no, the caravan. She put out an ad saying she's not one of the crazy Democrats.
Yeah, referring to Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, basically calling Elizabeth Warren crazy, and McCaskill was getting very defensive about legislation, which he says was just designed to help small banks and credit unions, including those with up to $250 billion in assets. So that's
Crazy.
That's crazy. Claire McCaskill, with a very morally robust campaign message there.
Yeah, we have now AP calling that Denver Riggleman race. So now that we have all these outlets calling it, we'll go ahead and call it here at the Sentinel.
Can we get a critical alert?
Yeah, let's do it as far as a critical alert here. That's right. We can confirm
Denver
that
Riggleman
Denver Riggleman has defeated Leslie Cockburn in Virginia's 5th district.
possibly now has the most absurd name in the House of Representatives.
I wonder if he's related to Jim Riggleman, the former Washington Nationals manager. That was back in the old days for the Nats.
Interesting question. Speaking of which, that reminds me there is sports intrigue in the state of Texas tonight. We have a former NFL player who's challenging for a seat in Texas. Colin Allred challenging Pete Sessions. And guess what? Colin Allred is up early, 52.8%.
Wow.
Over 45.6%.
Definitely keep an eye on that. Pete Sessions in the
32nd district.
Yes, in the 32nd district, 5th row down on the far right-hand side on the up against the wall graphic. Assuming you
Suburban
lose,
Dallas is
put the horns on him.
is what this district is. Let me hit you with some all red facts here.
Riggleman was also a Cubs manager. Someone noting on the chat room.
So
Looks like
oh, sorry, go on.
people are saying in the chat room here, this might be worthy of it. It's confirmed through NewJersey.com here. This might be a critical alert here.
Oh, let's hear it.
Bob Menendez, reelected. Hang on.
Bob Menendez, he's a survivor.
The Democrats' hope to take the Senate still lingers. Barely.
Lingers.
Barely.
Hope springs eternal in the hearts of the horny. I think that's how the quote goes.
It's something. Okay. Looks like
Oh,
we've got another critical alert.
We got a very
here,
critical
folks.
alert.
Critical alert
You're
here.
seeing it too.
Yes. You want to do the honor, Sam Knight?
Yeah, Republican Andy Barr wins re-election to Kentucky 6th.
Yep.
AP Politics
That's
reporting.
the race we've been watching here.
It's called at 8:43 officially. So that's 2 hours and 43 minutes after polls closed in Kentucky.
This was
She gave
considered
him
a toss-up race.
She gave him a fight. I will remind you, don't feel too bad about this because the opponent was a military Dem.
I'm getting my military Dems, CIA Dem, fighter pilot Dems mixed up this year.
Yeah, we're already consoling ourselves if Bratt wins because Spanberger's a former CIA
If you think
agent.
you've seen a lot of former CIA agents running for office as a Democrat, just wait like 10 years.
Yeah.
Intern Nate is in the house, everyone. Intern Nate has arrived home from work. He'll be making an appearance on the show later. I think so. He said he wants to be on the show, but sometimes he flakes. What's that?
He says he has to have more beers. Intern Nate wants to get good and beard up.
He's getting good and beard up. those of you who are still sad about intern suck, and we're not confirming anything about intern suck, but if you're still sad about intern suck, you can take some solace in intern Nate. Okay, it looks like we are have a slight downtime right now. Hopefully, in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes or so, we will have some results maybe in Texas in this Beto O'Rourke play, maybe
Texas,
in Florida,
Maine, maybe New Jersey,
maybe
Pennsylvania.
maybe Gillum DeSantis. Maybe we'll have something in that Florida Senate race with Bill Nelson and Skeletor himself. Sometimes, sometimes I don't miss Florida that much. Think of the politicians up there. But, all right. Two Sams are going to take a quick break. We're going to recharge our batteries as we do. Maybe we'll get something to eat, too.
Probably.
Get Sam Knight some more tissues. Tape his nose back onto his face. And then we'll be back with some critical news alerts. We're here in D.C. so that you don't have to be.